Hi, team. Welcome to the cultural training session by the team Strong Roots. As we all know that Strong Root is planning to expand its international business into multiple countries within the next 5 years. But for this year, our focus is to partner with Japanese firm and to penetrate Japanese market by partnering with the right organization. But before planning and executing that, it's very important to understand the cultural guidelines, the social, environmental, and governance factors which might affect our business. Also, it's very important to know what are the business etiquettes and what are the do's and don'ts that we need to take care of while interacting with them or engaging with the Japanese companies. And in this session, we are going to know more about that in detail. So let's get started. So starting with some social factors we need to take care of or take into consideration. The first is employee engagement. Uh, as we all know that in Japanese culture, there is a culture of loyalty between the employee and the employers. It tends to hire employees who can work for lifetime until the time of retirement with them. And therefore, to change employee on frequently basis is considered against their culture, which might affect which can make us difficult to sustain and grow uh, in Japan. So make sure that we always have the same employee interacting with them, and there should not be changes in the hierarchical structure as well. Another important social factor to take into consideration is the gender and diversity. It is one of a potential driver of business in Japan. It's very important to know that Japan has one of the highest old age population, which consists of 36.4 million people who are above the age of 65. Most majority of them are in higher positions in the corporate sector. Therefore, on one hand, it may provide us with the expertise that we need to get into the market. On the other hand, it can also make us difficult to outsource people who are high performing, who are young, who can bring creative ideas to the table. So both the aspects should be taken into consideration while we look for companies. Apart from social factors, we also need to take into consideration some of the governance factors. The first is the board composition. There is extremely low female participation in the corporate world in Japan. Japan ranks 121 out of 153 countries in the World Economic Forum Gender Gap ranking. In 2019, women accounted for only 5.2% of board of directors position. According to a McKinsey report, firms who have 30% or more female executive tends to perform better than companies who have fewer women representatives. Therefore, it's important to take into consideration the firms which have a more number of female participation or have gender diverse board composition. Another thing is the whistleblower scheme. So Japan has its own protection for whistleblowers. The purpose of this law consists of 11 articles, which are to protect whistleblowers who report crimes from retaliatory actions such as dismissal, demotion, and reduction in pay. This law applies to both private as well as public companies. The law only covers misconduct subject to the criminal punishment, and there is no legal duty for companies to establish an internal reporting system for this. Therefore, we need to learn more about the Whistleblower Protection Act, which can help us into the legal protection. Now, when it comes to business etiquettes, there are few things that we need to know and we need to follow. The first is bow as a sign of respect. Greetings are very ritual and formal in Japan. The junior person is the first one who initiates the bow, followed by the senior executive. Make sure that you don't have any eye contact with the employee while you bow to them, which might come out as rude. Another thing is always wear formal business attire. For men, it is dark suits, a white shirt and a tie. It's same for women. Women can also wear knee-length skirts, which are formal. When it comes to jewelry, it has to be minimal. A watch and a wedding ring is acceptable. The third important thing is to exchange business card whenever you meet any new employee, whenever you meet any new executive. Make sure you exchange the business card with them. It should be exchanged with both the hands. The information should always be on the top. Never put business card into the pocket or your bag immediately. Make sure you take a look through the business card, read so it shows interest and does not come out as rude to them. There are some recommendations for you which you need to follow. The first is whether it is a written or oral communication, always use family names first, followed by given name. For example, it would be Parik Nandini and not Nandini Parik. Use San after names as a sign of respect. So after the family name, you can use San, which is similar to Mr., Miss, Mrs. in English. So you can just use Parik San, similar to whenever you are addressing someone. It is a gender neutral term. The third is learn basic Japanese greetings and expression. You don't need to learn extensively, just basic, because it shows that we are interested to invest in their culture, and which also brings a very good impression in the first place. The fourth is, and it is very important, that you should be punctual. Make sure you always reach on time for your meetings or any occasion. Try to reach early so you don't miss out on that, because it is considered very rude to come late to the meetings. And the last is avoid putting hands in pocket during conversation, because it is considered that there is boredom in that conversation and you don't want to come out as that way. So please make sure that you take all these recommendations into consideration. Now let's play a game. I would request you to put on your Mentimeter at the code, and we'll play a quick game to revise whatever we have learned until now.
Just a moment, please.
So the first question is, what challenges do industries in Japan face due to high percentage of elderly population? And that's correct. Let's move forward to the next question. So the answer is, what honorific term is commonly used in Japan when referring to someone? And that's correct. And the last is, in Japanese culture, what non-verbal behavior demonstrates disrespect during conversation? That's absolutely correct. Here are some links that you can go through to learn more about Japanese culture. Thank you. There is also a printable guidelines which will be given to you. So make sure that you always carry that with you whenever you are meeting someone. Always keep them with you and go through that again and again in order to make sure that we don't make any mistakes while interacting with Japanese people or Japanese executives. Thank you.
Thank you.